Big Mike and Little Ant episode 5, bro. Can you believe it? We
I
got 5
know.
episodes going,
When I was
bro.
sending you the invite, I was like, oh, what I write? And I was like, oh yeah, episode. I was like, wait, is this really the 5th one? So I went to our channel to check. I was like,
Yeah,
this is the 5th episode.
5th one. So we're,
Yeah,
we're doing stuff, and now we got reviews coming. So we're
yeah,
starting to really get up there and stuff like that.
yeah, man.
So we're excited. Thank you guys for viewing as always, and of course, like, comment, and subscribe.
Right.
Shouts out to anybody who has subscribed already. We're getting them up little by little, trying our best. Do you send this out to your Facebook followers too at all?
Yeah, I do. So whenever we have an episode, I put it on my Facebook, and then I put it on my and now your mom knows advertisement page as well. So yeah,
And I'm Big Mike, and
I'm Little Ant.
Little Ant, and we're kind of co-hosts on this show. We don't really host, but we're gonna bring you some of our material today, and we're gonna start with the more, I guess, depressing stuff, and then
Right.
move to the more fun stuff. So, and that's of course what we all living with today. It's the coronavirus,
That's right.
obviously, and all the updates and things like that. So, in New Jersey, where we live, a parks opened up over the weekend,
Right.
and had interesting outcome. I'll let you take it since you actually watched the news conference about what
Yeah.
actually happened.
So what I did hear was there were some people who wasn't wearing masks, but well, the controversies, because you put the thing in our post in our chat that said beaches was closed. So when I watched the thing, they didn't touch on beaches. Well, the only thing he said about beaches was somebody asked a question: would people who don't belong to that city be allowed to go to their beach? And they said that was a good topic, but right now there isn't anybody who is restricted. However, I'm just gonna go to the parks thing because he mainly talked about the parks.
Uh-huh.
The governor in New Jersey, he said actually he thought the parks reopening went well. He said his words was there was a few knucklehead incidents where they had a few incidents where it didn't go as well, but he said it was few far in between of it went really well, so well that he decided to keep the parks open. So he isn't, because some people are like, oh, see, I knew it, but the parks are not closing as of yesterday, May 4th. So the governor of New Jersey said the parks will stay open. He said he just want people to start wearing masks because he noticed he got a lot of word that there was a lot of people in parks not wearing masks. And to be fair, when my wife told me the parks was opening, I said, like, well, I'm sure you don't need to wear a mask. I mean, look how huge your park is. Who's going to be? I just thought in my head, if a bunch of us are walking, and let's say me and my family go to the park, and it's about 6 of us, I just figure we're not going to be near somebody else, so why are we wearing masks? But I guess you never know. If you got little kids and they're swinging, maybe you probably want your kids to have a mask. So what do you got to say about that?
That's what I saw from the beginning. Like, how do you keep kids from other kids when they see other kids at the park? So maybe that's why the mask is more,
Oh, you know what?
recommended.
My wife just said kids aren't allowed to use the playground.
Oh,
So,
okay. Well, there you go.
the
Well,
cool thing is she works for the Division of Elections, so she's like she watches all the formal New Jersey stuff because they get calls on it and stuff. So she's more paying attention than me. That's actually how I was watching it because she was watching it. I was just sitting there listening. But yeah,
maybe
so
it's just because you don't want the chance of another family walking over to your family without you guys having masks on,
Right, and you got to keep your kids social distancing when you go to the park, and there's no better way than to say, hey, you can't go on the playground.
that makes sense.
Yeah. And I'm sure that means like the basketball courts are closed too then, I guess, at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, people will want to play with each other. Yeah.
Anything that would make you play together with other people, you can't do it.
I think what it's gonna do is so first of all, right, let's be real. A lot of people are like, oh, the parks are opening, but for me, like, I didn't get that excited because we don't really go to the parks that much anyway.
Right.
So I feel like some people who do go, they're gonna want to go to take these walks or whatever. They're gonna want to take their kids, and they're gonna see they can't take the kids. So I feel like it's not gonna be as crowded as some people might think, because I think by default, some people are like, oh, the park's open, but you're probably not gonna go. You're just gonna get excited that something open, but
Yeah, because if you can't take your kids to go on the slides and swings,
and who's really walking?
Right.
Like,
and then if you're a guy, you can't play basketball. Like, what do you really thought at the park?
Like, we thought when they first mentioned it, we thought, hey, if we go, me, Sandy, her son, her daughter, my daughter, and my oldest daughter, if we just went to walk this one park by us and walk up the big hill, that's pretty much all we thought of. We didn't,
Maybe play some frisbee.
So yeah, maybe play
I think
some
it's just for like
frisbee.
different scenery. Also, there's a lot of people who do jog and ride bikes through the parks and
Right.
stuff like that.
Right.
So it could be for that, but it's not what people probably thought it would be when he heard the word parks and
Yep.
stuff like that. They're probably thinking, especially with them being stuck in the house with the kids, they want to be able to take them to the swings and playgrounds and stuff like that.
He only opened the park for exercise reasons.
No.
Yeah. So, and for you exercise in your backyard. You only need the park to exercise. Like it
I know. Yeah.
matter to you. So.
But not for nothing, I am happy that something did reopen. At least because some people who are physical and they want to jog or whatever, that's good for them. I feel like whoever it fits the molds for, that's good for them. And also by them not opening the playgrounds, then it's less chance for somebody to get, contracted, so that's cool. At the end of the day, I feel like that's good. I understand not opening stuff like, movie theaters and all that just yet, but the parks, I think that was a good, a good thing.
Well, look, today I heard.
Me too. I think he's taking baby steps. Now the beaches we're talking about in our chat, which I sent you the pictures of earlier. That I guess, yeah, yeah. So yeah. I don't know how it came about. I don't know if it was just like the local beaches or whatever.
Right.
But apparently they were there and they weren't happy about what they were doing.
Right. So here, let me say this. So when they talked about the beaches, one of the biggest things that my family, we go to the beach often. And one thing that we don't do, I was thinking to myself, unless it's like a holiday in the summer, when are you at the beach all on top of people? Like whenever I'm at the beach, I have all this space. Like our towel is huge. First of all, our towel is massive, right? Our beach, not even beach towel, but our beach blanket, right? And then when the kids are in the water, they're not touching people. Like the ocean is so huge. So I feel like unless it's like jammed packed. So I feel like, and even when I looked at those pictures, to be honest, my only picture bothered me personally was the one with the girls. I'm like, first of all, is this doctor? Who's in the ocean in May? You let me know. In New Jersey. Like, I'm like, what? And they're all having a good time. Like, that is not real. Like, that water is freezing right now.
You know what's funny? When I read the article, it said, as temperature soared, I'm like, temperature soared? When? They were like, people went to the beach on the weekend. When did they soar?
I'm not 100% sure about that. But I will say this, though. Again, I feel like the ideal of the beach is opening. But first of all, like for me, I'm a beach fan, but we don't go to the beach till like mid-July, end of July, because number one, that breeze hit the ocean. It's chilly, and the water isn't warm. The water is cold. So I feel like, again, by default, like the parks, when you hear that you can't play on a playground, that's going to eliminate some people. When you hear, oh, the beach is open, but dude, it's May. Like, why am I going to the beach?
No, apparently they were packed.
It will be warmer in May than the ocean.
What'd you say, Mike?
Apparently, there was enough people there for them to say, okay, let's close it back. But I did read another article that Belmar, the mayor, pretty much said there's no way to stop it. So for Memorial Day weekend, we got to have precautions in place for the beach.
Right.
So he's basically saying like he's got some rules in place. Basically, they're getting rid of all like the benches around the beach or boardwalk, so nobody can congregate around there and stuff like that. Also that there's no loitering, so not like a bunch of people standing in one spot. You got to keep it moving if you're walking on like the boardwalk and stuff like that. Also they're limiting the amount of people in the bathrooms, so you can't have like so many people in there at one time, which also makes sense.
Here's my question to you. You said you don't think things are going to go back, right? It's going to take a while before people start getting back in the swing of things. But just look, if you got certain beaches where you got a lot of people going, right? Think about it. There's a lot of people who don't have the same fear as some people, right? So, and then you got to think the general public, right? There's a lot of people who are talking, oh, I won't do this and that. But there were a lot of people that wasn't doing stuff anyway. Like, think of all the people who say, I ain't going to the movies. A lot of those people probably didn't go to the movies anyway. So I feel like there's like Memorial Day, dude, there's going to be a lot of people trying to get out on Memorial Day. I don't care what nobody say. When people like, oh, it's going to be a while before people start doing stuff. You start opening things, it's going to be some people going.
I don't know. I mean, I feel 50-50 about that. Okay. But also with the officials still trying to keep us safe. Like he said, like the beach and boardwalk will have a capacity. So if you get there certain times, it's going to be like, you got to turn around. Which, before.
That's smart. Yeah. And it just is what it is. Yeah. We were talking about that earlier. I was saying, Sandy was saying, it's like, well, what if you drove all the way out to the beach? And they're like, listen.
You won't know. Yeah, no, it's a bad situation. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And just like I read the article today. I don't know if I sent it or not. I sent it to something, but about restaurants and stuff like that. And um, one of the restaurant owners was saying that his fear is not about the reopening; it's about the fear of people, because he can be open with still people not scared to come there and stuff like that. Into the restaurant, and their margins are so slim that if sometimes they don't fill to whatever the capacity they can fill it to, they're losing money and stuff like that. So
So what
that,
he's saying that if it reopens and too many people come?
no, he's saying that if they're allowed to reopen, let's say with 50% capacity,
Okay.
at that point they're barely making money. But
Oh,
that's
right.
if they make it to capacity. What if they can open at 50%, but people are still scared? Now they only got 25% in there, and they're
Right.
losing money at that time. So his fear is that they'll open, but people will still be scared to come
Right.
to us
Yeah,
and
because
lose
not for
money.
nothing, here's the catch-22. Is people collecting unemployment. Whenever every week you fill out your unemployment, like me, right? It says, were you able to work? And you say yes. Now, I don't have a job. But if you have a business and the government say you could go back into business, and if you open back up, then you can't, like, you're already back in the business. So now you can't be like, all right, well, now I still need help from the government. It's like, we open, but I don't have the supply and demand, or I don't have the clientele coming in.
Right. And you can't
Yeah, that's
control that. So it's very scary for restaurants because the profits are so. And you know what else is crazy? With different the restaurant and the beach, I can get takeout still if I don't feel safe. The
true.
beach is the beach. I mean, I can't replicate the beach in my house. So
Right.
the restaurants actually got it worse because a person might say, "Listen, I want Red Lobster, but I ain't going in, but I'll just get the takeout and stuff like
Right.
that." So that's a little
Yeah,
scary.
I wonder the money that's being made from takeouts and stuff, because there's a lot of places that didn't like Red Lobster. My daughter just ordered food from Red Lobster the other day.
Yeah, I'll talk to you
So
about that. Yeah.
yeah, so you figure like these places are still open, you know?
Um, I don't know. I think it's something about the takeout. I think it's like a restaurant formula, I believe. So we're like takeout is just like one order where if you're in the restaurant, you're likely to order more items or get a
Gotcha.
dessert or
Right.
things like that to where you're more filling the profit because you're
Oh, that
buying
makes
more
sense.
stuff. Yeah, exactly. Especially if you've been there for a while having a long conversation, like give me another drink. Especially you're a drinker. Mind you, they sell alcohol at
Right.
restaurants.
Right.
So you're getting more drinks and stuff like that. Where takeout, you don't even get no drink. You're like, all right, can you give me this amount and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I think that's what's kind of hurting them. I think the takeout is just keeping them afloat. But really, they need the restaurants to be full, and that's gonna be scary because you're in a closed-in area. At least at the beach, you're outside; it's open. So
Yeah.
that's the one thing that can make you feel better about in the park. Same thing
Right.
than like the beach or the movie theater. I mean, than like the restaurant, the movie theater, and stuff like that. Or in my case, the barbershop, which I desperately need. So
Yeah. Well, look, good thing for me, I went back to shaving, baby. So
because that's
I'm
because Sandy
good.
was about to leave you. That's why.
Yeah, right. I was like, listen, man, my whole marriage about to go down the drain because of this. This little stunt I'm trying to pull.
I thought you were about to try to get the curly top back going on for a minute.
And not for nothing, I start thinking I'm just gonna let this grow. Listen, let's see how long it goes. Get my hair curly, but
She should
again,
let you do it. She should have let you do it, man. Why not? It's Corona time. You home
well,
anyway.
listen,
So.
you seen the video, so it wasn't much gonna be growing up there.
Yeah, that's true. But speaking of Corona, segue king as I am,
Yes, sir.
looks like today is May 5th, and we're still going through this. So I'm gonna need a public announcement that you were wrong about April. Take the floor.
All right. So, guys, I did once upon a time, a while back. I said two things actually, and a friend of mine actually put me out there. Not you, but he actually screenshotted on Facebook when I made a post, and he put it back on Facebook to throw it in my face.
Wow.
So, here's what I said. Two things. The first thing, I'm gonna own and eat. I didn't realize I actually said this, but he showed me the post. So I actually said, in my infinite wisdom, but that before April is over, I don't know when, but the virus will be gone. So I did say that.
Oh,
And in my head, I'm
wow.
like, I didn't say that. And he actually showed, he like, no, yes, you did. I'm like,
I
oh,
love
wow.
it.
Okay, so that I have to own. Yes, the virus is still here. So I don't know why. I just felt like it was not magically, but I felt like because people were saying it's a 2-week thing, you know, your body, you get rid of it in 2 weeks. I just thought if you did the math, maybe we would have it done. But when you think of so many people, if I have it for 2 weeks, but I had it for 6 days and I touch you, and then you started from 0 to, and maybe your 7th day, you touch somebody, it could keep going on and on. All right, so I was wrong. Guys, I don't mind admitting when I'm wrong. Mike, I'm going to give you credit in a moment, but I was wrong. Now, number 2, I also said that things will go back to normal. Now, all I'm going to say is this, all right?
Nothing's normal.
I wasn't
Thank you, Sandy.
The fact that Georgia and South Carolina started opening things back up, I'm going to take that as,
hold on.
And no, you hold on. And they started opening things up before April ended. All I'm saying is,
Sandy, please tell him that he's wrong in this situation.
Number 1, coronavirus is still here, up and running, whether Georgia opened or any other state opened. And guess what? Georgia opened with restrictions. That is not normal.
Listen,
thank you. Thank you.
Is normal life.
Listen, they start opening up things, so that was good. Listen, the fact they start opening things up and that fit in my little what is it called?
Your little lie? Your little lie?
No, not lie, but you know, that worked in my favor. All right, number 2.
Here's what you need to do: change the word normal, because nothing about things opening.
Sandy,
is normal.
Listen, this is called Big Mike and Little Ant. All right.
Hey, Big Mike asked me to comment.
No, he did not ask you to comment. See, this is why I needed my own room, man. I need to get. Look, I'm getting rid of our pool table, and I'm putting.
No, you're not.
No, I am, because I thought being in the bedroom, I could actually have some peace and quiet.
You're just mad because you're wrong.
It doesn't matter. I'm trying to do a podcast, and you in the background. Man.
Look, it's good entertainment, Mike.
No, it ain't. No.
Can you let him talk?
Listen, it ain't his turn to talk yet. Anyways, so I'm gonna give you credit, Mike, because in the very beginning, you did say, literally, and when you said this, I was like, what? You said, this thing that's happening is going to change the way we look at the world. And I was like, man, if you don't stop, things will be, I feel like we're resilient. Things going to get back to normal right away. It's just some little, but in my lifetime, this definitely is the most, this is the most dramatic, most change ever. Like, I'm one of those people where I say it doesn't really matter too much voting for the president, because I always feel like, since I was younger and got older, I can't remember a huge difference that changed in my life versus one president to the other. So I'm usually like, whatever. But this, dude, I got laid off. I'm in the house. I barely go anywhere. I got friends like you. We can't even go watch a movie together to do our show we created. So you were 100% right. And even 10 years from now, if this virus never come back, we will never forget 2020, ever.
No.
Whoever lived in 2020, this will be something like, you know, when people always bring up the recession, like, oh man, like this is something that's going to be bigger than that, you know? So
yeah, I think, and we're going to memorialize people that we lost too. I think, just like we did for 9/11, you know, same type of deal. And yeah, as far as the changes, I think we spoke about this on the phone, but we can add it to the podcast too. I think it will change, which is a good thing, the way we look at being sanitary as human beings, as Americans, and stuff like that. The washing our hands that we're doing more now, the hand sanitizer that we should have. They're not touching our face and our mouths or our nose and stuff like that. Like all these things, I think will change. Even certain things, like I think they might keep some of those barriers up they have in nail salons in Georgia. Right. Just to prevent colds from sharing back and forth. If it's working and they're still doing nails, why not? It's not hurting the place. You know what I'm saying? So I think some of those things will stay in place moving forward. Whatever things we have, because like the restaurant guy was talking about, he'll have more stations for sanitizer around the restaurant. He might have, more space between tables. I think those things will stay in place. So that's what I meant by it'll change us, forever, things like that.
Here's what's really cool if you think about it. Remember when you and I decided we would do a show? And before the coronavirus was anything, you remember, we went to dinner and everything. And I was telling you, I said, yo, we should find a way that we could do the show if we don't see each other in person. You literally was like, no, man, I'd rather us do it in person, but
Yes.
this thing forced us to do this. And now we know that, you know what, if we got a busy week and we want to put out content,
We
you
can.
better believe our viewers will probably get some content. We won't be like,
Yes.
oh man, we was busy, we couldn't get together. We'll be like, you know what, we did it before. You know?
Now we can do more content. We can do both. We can do
Yeah.
together and do this because we've done it before. So the options are better. And I think like I have a family, right? Of course, I got a family, but we do a family group Zoom every week. It's scheduled, literally every
Right.
week. And I got some of them are here, some are in Florida, and we're all on the same Zoom. This is something that we never would have did before, but now we might even keep that going because it's just like an hour out of the week where we get to catch up with each other and things like that. So why not keep it going? You know, so it's just I think some things might bring people together even
Right.
different than what they were, which is again, like I said, it will change the way we operate, you know, moving forward, I think. So and like I get a prime example, you know, talking about bowling alleys, for example. None of us were like sanitary bowling alleys. Like we walk in and pick up a ball. What's your ball at?
You ain't lying. Yeah.
Who knows who touched that ball before you? And did they wipe their nose and cough on their hands and grab the
Right.
ball? We had no idea. But now we'll be way more. We wipe this ball down with a Clorox wipe. Let me sanitize my hands. Like things like this will change us
Right.
moving forward. So
Now let me ask you this: we talking about reopening. Georgia and South Carolina has been reopened for over a week now, and I haven't heard like anything crazy. Like a friend of mine put a post on Facebook saying that they reported like the highest deaths in Georgia. But I actually read the whole thing, and it didn't say it was because of the reopening. Because they said what's hard with the coronavirus is there are people who are sick for a week or two, and then they end up passing away. So you can't be like, oh, you got it today and you die tomorrow, you know? So have you heard any negative thing about the reopening in Georgia?
yeah, I'm with you. I hear about the numbers, but the numbers don't make sense because it takes
Right.
a little bit more time for the numbers to
Right.
actually saying. So no, but I have heard the projections for June, like I told you, like
Right.
that it can go up based off the people going out now
Right.
and whatnot. I've read something today that said like it's sad, but we may double or triple the lives lost by opening earlier, but save over 1 million jobs at the same time.
Wow.
So it's like this conundrum we're in, right? At the same time. So it's very interesting.
Here's what's crazy. If we want to follow that down the rabbit hole of
Sure.
sad, if we open up so many jobs, but we might lose so many people. The crazy thing is, please don't, just hear me out. The crazy thing is a lot of people who made pass are probably people who wasn't going to be working. Because there's a lot of older people, elderly people, and a lot, you know, so it's a weird type of thing, you know. It's like people losing their grandmas and they, you know, grandfathers and people that's up in age, and it's like you know, they're going before their time, but then it's all these people could go back to work. But it's like, but then the
That's what
government,
it's crazy about. Yeah, it's that
yeah,
catch-22. I mean, and that's if I was an official, I wouldn't want to have that in my hands. If I was Murphy right now, do I put people, risk people out, or do I keep them unemployed? You know what I'm saying? It's a real catch-22. It's not simple. I wouldn't say that at
definitely
all.
not. Because I
So
can imagine there's some jobs that their situation, they like this, like they're, it's life or death. Meaning these business, I'm sure so many businesses are going to go out of business or have went out of business.
yeah.
You know?
Yeah. That's what the restaurant guy was. He owns like a 15. So he's not just one restaurant guy, right? He owns like 15 different restaurants in the Maryland, D.C. area, the one I was reading about. So he's got like, you know, several chains. But he was saying that some of the smaller ones who are normally okay at full capacity,
Right.
they might be the ones close. Like we might lose 30% of our restaurants throughout the nation, put it like that.
Wow.
Because of the people not attending or, you know, right now or opening 50% capacity. Some restaurants can't afford 50% capacity at all. So we may actually just lose them all together. So things like that, you know, I definitely can see where it will be like, I'd rather open up my business than worry about it.
This then, Sandy sent me something that said, dumped milk, smashed eggs, plowed vegetables, food waste of the pandemic. So where restaurants, hotels, and schools close, many of the nation's largest farms are destroying millions of pounds of fresh goods that they can no longer sell. Wow.
Makes
Yeah,
sense.
think about it. If we're a farm, thank you.
They say because hotels and restaurants are not open and they're
Right.
not getting the regular
Yeah.
capacity of business,
Right.
that they have nowhere to sell these crops to, and they're not going to make money off of them, and now they're just.
And think about it. The way crops are, you like you dig your field and get everything for a certain size, right? So then all of a sudden you're just growing this stuff regardless. Like
And it's
you already
overgrown,
seeded.
and you got nobody to sell it to.
Yeah, wow. And think about the
Yeah.
money that the farmers are losing.
Yep. The
Yeah.
farmers are going to go out of business if it keeps going this way. And then where are we getting our food from?
It's all. I mean, it's crazy that this is happening. And you know what's weird? My mom was asking me. We're talking about today how like it was literally almost 100 years ago with the whole Spanish flu pandemic,
Okay.
and you know we didn't live around that time, but it
Right.
lasted almost 3 years.
Right.
So you wonder like how did people survive for 3 years living like this? I mean, it killed almost 50 million people, and then I went to the end of reading about it. I'm like, well, how did it just stop? And they just said the virus became less lethal after a while. I'm like, that's amazing. That just kind of faded on its own.
Well, so when I originally said that it would be gone by the end of April, that's in my mind. I'm like, I mean, the way. First of all, I'm really weird, right? I literally went 10 years without getting sick to the point where I had to call out of work, like literally. So in 2019 was the first year in 10 years. Actually, I had a fever, and I actually felt it was during the summertime, so I wasn't work. Yeah, so I didn't call out. Well, I had got laid off, but I literally had a fever like twice in in the span of like 2 weeks. But so I'm one of those people where I know my immune system is just really good. And but going back to the Spanish flu and all that stuff, I know there's you get sick, and then because I don't like to take medicine, so like my immune system is just really good. I know there's people that like you get over stuff so fast, and I feel like our bodies, the human body, is so resilient. Like you even take something like I hurt my knee before, and Sandy has a friend who's a nurse, and she was like, so I must have tore something, and she was like, and my knee swelled up. She was like, you're gonna have to go to the hospital. And I'm one of these people. I might die because I don't go to the hospital one day. That's probably gonna be my death. But I'm just self-medicated. I just don't like medication. I feel like I'm afraid that it's gonna make me weaker. It take me so long to get sick. I feel like that's because I feel like it's only because I don't take medication. I feel like I just don't weaken my immune system. Well, anyway, my knee ended up without going to the doctors. I mean, it took a year and a half for it to be back to normal. Now, granted, that's a long time. And you would have went to the doctors, and I'd have been fine in like 2 months, right?
Right.
But no, my knee ended up being fine. It ended up draining itself. And my whole point was, back in the day, Spanish flu, again, it just got less potent over time because our bodies just, again, a lot of people died. But
right.
It's kind of like I said in the beginning in the chat that one time, because one scientist said, listen, if we want to get over the thing the fastest way we can, we just don't close nothing. Now, unfortunately, a lot of people are going to die, but it's going to go through our bodies so fast because people are going to build up to it. We're going to be so strong to it. And the people who can't, unfortunately, they're going to be hospitalized and then die.
I think the issue with that is that the people who would die,
right,
not because of it, right? Because the hospitals are so filled because of it. Right. Like if we didn't shut down, then they'll all be at max capacity. So then the regular guy who just had a hit by a car, let's say, he can't get treatment because it's filled from the coronavirus. So I think that's the only sad part about that. People who don't even get the virus will then die because they can't get the treatment that they need. You know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. I never looked at it like that.
Yeah, but if you remember on the one earlier, remember a long time ago in the New Year radio, we were still in the thing. I said the issue is the beds. If all the beds are taken up from the coronavirus, then where are the beds for the other ICU patients when they go in there? And that was always the issue from the beginning for me. That people, the weren't even thinking about, because we only got so many ICU beds in the hospitals. So it is what it is. But you could, fall down the steps right now. but if the beds are taken up, where you going? You know what I'm saying? So that's the. that's really the issue for me. So, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I think we become accustomed to this life a little bit. You know, certain people have. I do see how it's leading to some depression and stuff like that, which is very, very sad. But people are starting new things, like you and I did this show, live streaming a Netflix watch party on Sunday. You know, we're just like
and
finding new things to do. So
not for nothing, if you would ever said, "Hey, do you want to sit down and do a Netflix watch party?" I'm like, no, like, wow. But you know, it's been cool, and I'm looking forward to this Sunday. It's making me watch movies that. So I'm weird. I normally don't watch another movie again. Like, it takes me a long time to watch a movie again. Because I feel like that time I'm watching an older movie that I've seen already, I could watch something else. Now, I'm one of those people that if you came over and you never seen a movie that I really, really like, I'm like, oh, let's watch it. But I typically don't just watch it just because, you know?
Right.
So the fact that we're watching Underworld again, I'm excited because I liked it and it's giving me a reason to watch it.
Yeah. And speaking of movies, so we talk about how the movies are getting postponed and stuff like that, which we already know. But and again, it's just me. I'm just a foresight person. I like to look 2 steps ahead. That's how I've always been. So I'm starting to think about the movies that are greenlit, but they can't get in production because they can't be around each other for the coronavirus.
Right. So how can they act out a movie?
Right. How can they actually shoot a movie?
Right.
So by the time, like, it's almost like, I don't know, it's crazy to say we're gonna run out of movies, because by the time the movies postponed come out, if they can't shoot the new movies, then where the movies gonna come from?
Well, so I was thinking about that the other night. We're watching TV, and I'm like, you're watching a show, but how many episodes? Eventually, you're not gonna have any more episodes.
Right, because they can't shoot shows right now. Same thing. So it's like, what are they? You know, and movies are even different.
Now I was about to bring that up because I was about to say, fortunately for me, my favorite thing to watch is wrestling, and they got approved to be essential. So I'm just saying.
They did, and I did watch for no fans. It's trash, bro. I can't do it. I'm sorry.
I listen.
I know you disagree. I tried it though. I want to try. I want to check it out.
Cool. Well, so here's what's not fair. You don't watch wrestling anyway. So even if they had fans, I guarantee if you watched it, you'd have like, yo, wrestling now is trash. Guarantee. You know, but I get it though. As a fan, used to be a fan, you're still trying to watch it and see what it would feel like with no fans. You know.
Yeah, I just want to see what it would feel like because I remember what it was with fans, of course. So
and I will say this: if you try to watch it now and without fans, and you don't know any of the wrestlers, like how could you sit through it? You'll be like, who is that? And who is that? And you know, wrestling is about the characters. It's a show.
The story.
And it's like if somebody just say, hey, just watch this show. If these characters don't pull you in, you're not gonna sit through it. And you had.
I was younger, used to call it like soap opera for men. Like it's basically like a soap opera.
100%. Yeah, I always say that. Yeah, it's a male soap opera.
Yeah, and it's ongoing over and over again, the storyline. So
well,
I just wanted to give it a try because you told me it was pretty good. So I said, let me give it a try. I like to try things.
I'm still heavily into it. I got into it, you know, without the fans. You know.
Well, your next thing is UFC with no fans this weekend, right? You watching it? Right.
No, so I'm upset because the most anticipated fight is no longer happening. The guy who actually had the title, he is from Russia, and he went to fight. They was gonna do it in Abu Dhabi. He went there, and they changed it, so he went home to Russia because they didn't know what they was doing because everything was up in the air. And Russia said there's a ban, nobody could leave. So unfortunately, he could no longer fight. And the guy he was going to fight, name is Tony Ferguson. His name is Khabib Nurmagomedov. Now they had to switch him and put somebody else in it, and it's like it's not even the same thing. So I don't even care. And it's a shame because they were supposed to fight 5 times already, and each of the times something happened. Like the most recent time, Tony Ferguson, a week before the fight, all right, he was walking out the back and tripped over a cord and injured himself and couldn't fight.
Wow.
So this fight, people have been waiting for so long. And again, I feel like, I think they made the coronavirus just to stop this fight.
Well, I would definitely look for the highlights or video and see how it looks to no fans for UFC. I'm just curious about that part. I think they could pull it off because they had like the UFC, the TV show that really had no fans there and stuff like that. So I think
just to throw in there though. So originally, when they had the 50 limit capacity, they were going to still have this fight. And then when he went down to 10 capacity, Dana White, the president of UFC, said, there's no way we could have a pay-per-view with that little bit of people. So they were in talks. Actually, this is a real thing. He's building a thing called Fight Island out in international waters, so they can have their own rules on Fight Island. Because the problem with UFC is they fight all the time in Las Vegas, right? But the commission and everything have their own rules in Las Vegas. Then when they go to New York, they have their own rules in New York. So each state they go to have their own rules, and they have even point systems for judging. So their problem is like, they'll have a fighter and somebody will lose by a little bit of points. And it's like, if that was in Las Vegas, that would have never happened. So he want to have a centralized location where they make the rules and the rules are set based off of, because one of the biggest problems is they're saying judges have no fight experience. So these judges, that's the judges, they're like, it sucks when you watch a really good match. And at the end, it goes to a decision. And the person who wins, you're like, how did he win? But Dana White always says, never leave it in the hands of the judges. So what I'm saying is, I'm curious to look up how are they having this fight this weekend and where. That's what I want to know. Because
I don't think it's at that island at all.
Right.
But my question is that when he does go there, like, how will it impact his ticket sales? Because it gets a lot from Vegas.
Right.
You know, just by being in Vegas, you know, stuff like that. So I'm wondering how would that impact? Or maybe he just gets so much TV or pay-per-view money,
man,
he doesn't care.
I'll tell you this. Imagine, so the island got to be huge enough. Because when I watched the video probably 2 or 3 weeks ago, and he said that the Fight Island would be ready in about a month. That's what he said. So imagine people who are going to Fight Island. Dude, that got to be like, you think going to Vegas is cool, right? You buy, these people got all this money going to Vegas, going to UFC Fight Island for pay-per-view. That thing got to be people who got money. Trust me, people going.
Oh, speaking of that, let's talk about that. Have you ever been to Vegas?
No, I've never been to Vegas.
And why have you never wanted to go in your elder states?
Yeah, right. Here? So when I was younger, I just I just thought like, oh, one day I'll go to Vegas because it sounds cool. Then I got heavy into church in 2012, and I thought Vegas was the devil. Like, so I was like, oh, I'll never go to Vegas. No, for real. And then but now me and my wife, we always joke that, hey, we'll go to Vegas. And we'll go to Vegas one day and have a threesome with a midget. But my Google is turning on. It says, sorry, I didn't understand that. Me neither, Google. But yeah, I'll go to Vegas now. I don't have my holy restrictions. Yeah, I mean, I just don't know what I do in Vegas, you know? Like Vegas sounds like really cool if I was a single guy or something, but I don't know. I mean,
you don't gamble, right? No.
I don't gamble. No. I used to love to play roulette. That was like fun when I went to Atlantic City, but I didn't do it as like, I mean, it's still gambling, but I didn't do it as like, oh, I'm going to do this. We went to go to the clubs, and if we was walking through, you know, we were waiting before we went to the clubs, or we were walking through the casino, we're just, you know, oh, let me play roulette.
Yeah, I got you. You know what's funny? You know what's funny is that Entourage, which you haven't seen,
right?
There's a episode where they go to Vegas and stuff like that, and they weren't going though to gamble. They were just going to have fun, like you said, club. But they got a rule as a group: every time they go to a casino, they first thing got to do is play roulette.
Wow!
And if but if they win, it determines how good their weekend's going to be or something like that. It's like a rule they got going on, so it's pretty good.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Have you ever been to Vegas?
I've never been. I've always wanted to go. I was supposed to go like 5 years ago to see the Floyd Mayweather Manny Pacquiao fight.
Okay.
When I was there, I'd already paid for the flight and everything and room, I think. But something happened to where I couldn't go, and I wound up getting the credit right before I moved to Florida, to Tampa actually. And I used that credit to go to Tampa, and I stayed for 8 days in order to find a place to live while I was in Tampa in the hotel. So, but I never actually made it to Vegas, stuff like that. So
okay, yeah, I was gonna ask you how come you didn't go also.
Yeah, like I said, I've never made it, and I don't know, man. It's weird for me. Like, I didn't do a lot, you know, in my 20s, I guess the best way to put it. So I should have did more. Now I really think about it now, but I just never got around to that stuff. So, but it's over. I'm going to Vegas. So
no, it's cool. Yeah, Sandy and I. So here's what's funny. Every year we go somewhere for our anniversary, and this is our 5th year anniversary, and we told ourselves we wanted to do it big. So Vegas was one of those ideals we threw out there. So that's funny. But this year we were saying we always want to go to Arizona. We mentioned Vegas. We just had a bunch of different places we was thinking about going for the 5th year anniversary. Let's do it big. Let's go somewhere, you know, on a plane. And we're not doing nothing now.
I mean, wait, when's the anniversary? June, right? June
Yeah.
something?
Yeah, June 14th.
I mean, you probably could go if you wanted to. It's up to you, you know? So,
Maybe not. Well,
maybe,
not by
maybe
then.
not.
I mean, wow, you know what's crazy? That's only a month from now.
Yeah, but I think you'll be able. I mean, people are flying places now. You know,
Right.
you can go somewhere now if you really wanted to. It depends on you.
I mean,
And to be honest
you
with you,
probably save a ton of money.
and to be honest with you, the ironic thing is that we're the second. Our state is the second most cases. So wherever you go, it's gonna be less cases where you're at than where you live at. To be honest with you, so you might be safer there than you are at home. Be quite honest with you. So.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll figure something out. I mean, but we're looking to get our roof done. I just had an adjuster come over today, contractor. So we got to see if that gets approved because we got money to the side for our trip. But you know, because we put money to the side and all this stuff start happening. But if we can't get our insurance to pay for the roof, then we'll have to go into our trip money. So we'll see what happens.
Gotcha. And speaking of being at home, no, Empire, which we did watch stuff like that.
Yeah.
Series finale, which is funny because we didn't even know each other watched Empire at one point, and then we kind of stumbled upon it. We both were watching it. So what did you think of the finale?
Yeah, so I will say it was crazy when you said you watched Empire. I was like, oh wow, because I always heard you talk about Power when we used to work together. And I had no clue you watched Empire. So I was like, dude, I'm an Empire fan. So I was really happy because now it opened up something else we could talk about. And ironically, we never talked about Empire. Like, this is the first time we're going to talk about Empire.
Cool. Let's dive into the whole season then. Why not? Since we didn't talk about it.
No, I was going to say we should talk about it as a whole. Like, instead of just the season finale, let's just talk about the show as a whole. I always defended the show when people would say, oh, they didn't like it. And I said, but this is one thing I could tell you that I don't ever remember. I never remember driving on a trip and playing the music from a show. Empire music was good.
It was good.
I will say that. Like, I listened to it. My wife listened to it. The kids be listening to it. Like, they got some songs that's hits that we just like jam to, man, and like singing and stuff.
I agree. Yeah.
So,
except for maybe that drip drop from I Came in the first season, but that was really good.
What? That was one of our songs. Drip drop. Drip, drip, drip. What?
That was horrible. That was horrible.
No, that was great.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's that's one of our favorite songs. That's
the lyrics are just so bad for me.
So here's the funny thing with me and rap. Listen, probably 5 years ago, I done checked out on rap. So I feel like rap just became like the worst music. So like lyrics, I'm not so great. Like when I listen to like Drip Drop, like first of all, I feel like, is Hakeem the best rapper? No. But for a show, the character he playing the show and him rapping is good enough for me. So I feel like getting into the show and into the character, then his rapping just was like, okay, cool. So then, and the beat is good, you know, and then it got Tiana on the beat on the, you know, so for me, it just ended up being a good song.
Yeah, that's what it is. Hakeem's not really the greatest rapper, but the songs are catchy. Tiana's not really a great singer either, but the songs are catchy. So that's what it is. They're like,
Well, Sandy got a good point. They're hits. Because you listen to songs now, you're like, is that really that great of a song? No, especially now. Now, the music is trash that's out, but they're hits.
I agree with you on that. We can agree there, 100%. So, but to the point, the music was good on the show. Yeah. No, go ahead. I'll let you finish your overall thoughts.
Remember Alicia Keys and Jamal when they did the song?
Yeah.
I mean, they had some songs, man, that came out of that show.
That was pretty good. Yeah, that was actually good.
That was really good.
I always like Lucius. I like his songs for some reason. So he's my guy and whatnot.
Yeah.
The song he did with the when he was in jail the one time, I thought that was pretty dope actually.
Which one?
But when he was in jail, I think he did it or when he first got out, I think with the girl what's her name? Chris Rock's daughter. She played Chris Rock, worked at the barbershop, the one who tried to shoot him.
Yeah,
he did a song. Yeah, he did a song with her and stuff. I forget what it was called, but it just reminded me of him and when he played DJ and the other movie.
Hustle and Flow?
Hustle and Flow, yeah. It reminded me of him playing DJ.
You know what? I never seen that.
Oh
It's
man.
funny. I know a lot about movies that I don't see, but like I knew he was gonna. I knew like a lot of people said they feel like he was the same character from that. They feel like he was like the same character from that movie, but I never seen the movie, so I never knew what they was talking about. But I remember so many people said that. You know.
Yeah, I think that you and Sandy would like Hustle and Flow. You check it
No,
out one day.
she's seen it.
Oh, she did. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
I like Hustle and Flow.
Yeah, it's good stuff. And you know, okay, my only gripe is I thought eventually Cookie became too over the top. I think they kind of, I think she was popular at first, and then they kind of made the show more about her, and then she became a little too over the top towards the end.
And they never brought her back down.
Yeah.
Like every scene, she cursing somebody out. Like it was just like, man, she just got super extra. And I think because people like that, they probably looked at the demographic of people liking her flip out personality, and they said, look, we got to keep the volume up on her and just keep it.
I still like Cookie.
Yeah, I mean, she loves Cookie.
I mean, in my opinion, I think she was always cursing somebody else, slapping somebody, you know, whatever it was. Like it wasn't regular conversations anymore. A little bit for her.
My best friend extras like her.
Really?
That's
Look, I was the first person. I used to say her friend Constance is the white Cookie. Where I would say I would say Cookie is the black Constance is what I used to say. But
and also I thought they kept Andre, his storyline became too redundant with his bipolar and mental issues. It's like every season now he's seeing ghosts. I'm like, come on, man! Like, it's like, can we change up his story a little bit? So
yeah, and one of my I'm just gonna say spoiler free for whoever didn't see Empire, but we gotta talk about it.
Spoiler alert, you mean? Not spoiler free. Spoiler alert.
Spoiler alert. Sorry about that. Thank you, sir. Yeah, my thing too is I'm not a big fan of when people die and then in the show if they're seeing that person. I feel like that's just a way for them to write somebody back into the show.
Yes.
And a lot of times I'm not into that, and I feel like they overdid it with the Kingsley thing. I'm like, yo, come on, and then it became like, is this a horror movie now? A horror show? Like like it that I didn't like that. It got a little too.
In that show was when he was seeing his wife.
I didn't like it that much either. That's just not my thing. But it was cool because I liked her character. But I kind of felt like she could have been gone too. You remember his wife in the very beginning?
Yep. I remember. Yeah. Then he stopped seeing her. I remember that. Yeah, for a while.
I liked her character. I was sad when they got rid of her.
Yeah, I was sad when they killed her too. Actually, I wasn't sad, but I felt like that she became a good actress on the show.
Yeah.
Oh no. So.
And
the girl that killed her, I didn't like her though either.
Yeah, I didn't like her either.
Oh yeah,
Boo Boo Kitty.
I'm trying to think what Cookie used to call her.
Boo Boo Kitty.
Yeah, Boo Boo Kitty.
Yeah. Boo Boo Kitty. Yeah. But you know, her and Andre together in real life. I think they married her.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
His character, yeah. They met on the show and fell in love. But yeah, that and this last season, I felt like Hakeem was severely underused. I feel like sometimes he wasn't even there for long stretches of time and stuff like that. So
yeah, I feel like this last season Jamal was really underused.
Well,
yo, not for nothing, man. Listen, I'll get mad if you want. I was like, yo, if they do the whole season without Jamal at all, come on, man. I know what he did, but I forgive the man. Can I get some Jamal? But it was cool that they referenced him a lot. They mentioned him a lot in this. They mentioned his name and his character a lot. So that was cool throughout this season.
I think I just don't know why he did what he did. He's still lying about it. Like I just don't understand it.
Yeah, that was bad. I mean, but I feel like I don't know. It's a hard call where somebody do something in their personal life and then it transition over, like we talked about the Bill Cosby thing, you know? So, I mean, it is what it, I mean, you know, you do the crime, you do the time. Unfortunately, I think about the people who lost out because of him. For instance, remember the guy who played as his husband?
Right. Now he got kicked off.
He probably lost his job.
Yes.
Think about it. He was definitely probably supposed to be in this season. And now they had to write his character off.
Yeah, whoever Jamal's makeup guy was, or hair guy, or whoever, who probably lost their job.
Who wrote his songs? I mean,
who wrote the songs? Who, you know, was wardrobe people? You know, maybe they left now. Whatever it is, he probably lost some job because of his actions. They probably didn't think of that. I mean, I know he was trying to stand up for, I guess, gay activism or whatever, but he just went about it the wrong way and whatnot.
Yeah, definitely the wrong way. And I will say this final season probably would definitely be a little better if he was in it, because his character was polarizing. His character always had some type of extra dynamic to it and some type of crazy stuff. And his character was a liked character too, besides when I feel like everyone on the show had a point where they was like the bad guy or the a-hole or something. But for the most part, he was a likable character.
I felt it's crazy because he was missing, and then the show had to end early because of coronavirus, so we didn't get a real finale. So it was kind of like, I don't know. It was like
that what happened?
Yeah, they weren't done shooting when they had to shut down, so they had like 3 more episodes to still come out. But then it's like, well, it's last season anyway, so we might as well make this our finale.
Here's what's funny. Sandy asked me what you and I were talking about. And when I mentioned the finale of Empire, I literally said to her, I was like, yo, what happened on the last episode? I feel like it just ended. And that's probably why I get that feeling. I was like, I'm really finding it hard to remember, like, how did it end?
Because it didn't go out with a bang.
Yeah, I was just like.
Because it couldn't. Because of the fact that.
And that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, the writers have said hopefully maybe they can come back for our ending, a true ending and stuff like that.
What they should do, they should make it a movie.
What, in the movie theater or like?
Like just a Netflix movie. You know how Netflix has like little original movies that become popular with big actors? Make an Empire movie where Jamal is back in it and it's like the season finale / movie.
Yeah. I'll watch it.
I'd watch it.
Because if you look at that last episode, you didn't even see Andre's wife come back in or nothing like that, or at the end of it. So it's just a lot.
Like you don't even know if they were gonna get back together or ever talk again. Nothing.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. It's really like left up in the air how it kind of ended or whatever. So, and even really with Lucius and Cookie, they just kind of ended really.
I feel like I didn't get.
Like, are they gonna get back together or not?
Yeah, they didn't get a good like send off for the show, you know.
And I feel like that. I don't know if Ken would have really stayed with that girl. I feel like he's supposed to be ended with Tiana, to be honest with you. So I just feel like
so it ended like really you wrote that in the script. He just feel like, you know what?
I'm gonna just ride this out.
Yeah, but I guess for them, where they were at, and then the coronavirus messed them up. They didn't have a good like. If you want that good ending, it has to be a build up. It can't just be out of nowhere. And I feel like I guess they didn't have enough time to really, you know.
That's the problem. Yeah. And a lot of shows. I watched Grey's Anatomy. Same thing. They ended 5 episodes early, like that they had. I mean,
they wrote it in the script. Like they wrote it to make it actually end, or did it just stop?
No, they stopped. They stopped filming. That last episode they had, it actually was good enough to be type of finale. However, they really had 5 episodes that they already wrote. That they didn't shoot.
What I'm saying is, cinematically on screen, did they sell that last episode as if this was a finale?
Oh yeah, they had to. Yeah.
Oh wow.
For the season, yeah, not for the series, for the season.
Oh yeah, for the season.
Yeah, but they had 5 episodes left to shoot that were still written and stuff like that. So there's definitely some cliffhangers that they didn't discuss, you know, in there. So a lot of and I guess it's about the shooting schedule sometimes, like. You know, so like Modern Family, which I also watched, was good because they actually were able to film their last show. And it was a series finale. They're done, and they were able to get that done, and also a send-off episode. So they were good. So it depends on the show.
Oh, so Modern Family's over now?
It's over, yeah.
Man, you know what's crazy? That's the one show that it would come on after wrestling a lot. And we would just sit there and just watch. Like, you get caught watching that, and it's hilarious. Now, I don't know why we never made that our actual show to watch, but we've seen so many episodes.
Me too.
And that's not like our show, you know?
Yeah. I remember being on like vacations and trips, just like it's on like USA, just watching Modern Family or stuff like that. Like it's pretty good. Yeah, it's great show. But yeah, it's over. They had a nice send off and stuff like that. So it's crazy because Ed O'Neill, right? And this is off topic, whatever. You know how we did. We just talk. But Ed O'Neill, who, you know, played Al Bundy on Married with Children, also on Modern Family. Modern Family got 10 years, and he got 11 with Married with Children. He was on TV for 21 years. That's amazing.
And the crazy thing is, I was going to ask you how long was Modern Family on, because, like I said, I never actually made it my show, but I've seen so many episodes because it came on right after wrestling.
It was on 10 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I say he had 11 on the other show. So that's like amazing career already. Got 21 years on TV, which is hard to really do.
Not for nothing. And there's a big space difference from when Married with Children ended and when it came on. Like that got to be probably 20 years.
20 years,
yeah.
Between there. So that's pretty amazing too. But with some shows, and that's the thing, going back to the corona, that's the thing about it. Like some stuff had to end, some stuff didn't. It's just a crazy thing. Shooting stopped right in the middle, like, all right, pack it up. And that's crazy too and whatnot. So
I wonder what positives could come out of the coronavirus. Like in a few months or a year, like, is there anything we're gonna be like, man, if the coronavirus didn't happen, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I wonder if there's gonna be.
I think just being more sanitary, being more prepared as a society and individuals in our homes and stuff like that. People won't be. I guarantee people won't be as much rushing to buy whatever they were buying. Toilet paper, batteries, whatever. They'll be more prepared and things like that. And I think just spending more time or checking on people you love more than what we were done before. That's one thing I can see positive really coming out of it.
From work from home should give you more work from home days now.
Oh yeah, she said I think jobs that function from jobs should give you more work from home days.
Well, I think that too. I think they realize they have the ability and they might keep it in place and probably say, when it's snowing 10 inches on Jersey, like it does sometimes, they can say, look, you just work from home. We understand, So, and that'd be good.
My job that I was at for 19 years, I tried hard. I lobbied hard to try to get a work from home day. And they was always like, no. And everybody but like 3 people didn't have a work from home day. And they always told me no. I was like, but I could actually do everything I could. And then when we had a snowstorm, we had to work. I worked from home. And I always felt like, man, but I guarantee if I was still there, I probably would have they probably would have gave me one now.
Yeah.
They probably would have.
I think now stuff like that, or even just like little things like, listen, I can, like, I don't know how they'll do it, but if it's like, I'm sick, like maybe like a stomach ache, but I can work, but I just don't want to be in the office running back and forth to the bathroom all day. You might get more work from home. Or even that, just regular sick, like a cough or a regular flu. People are like, I don't want to lose all my days. And might say, okay, just work from home. That might be good. I think they might give us, like, as a part of our packages, you might have like 10 work from home days or something like that.
Yeah, that might be like part of it, and you could use it for whatever. Like, you know what? You don't feel good one day, you went out last night, whatever. I'm not saying they promote that, but either way, you wake up not feeling good, use a work from home day. Kind of like a work from home day. I mean, period.
Right. Same thing with snow. Well, it's a part of your day. It's however you want to use it, but you get a certain amount per year. That might be added into places right now.
Yeah. I'll tell you this much, man. If I would have known, I would have bought stock in Zoom, because I bet Zoom is booming.
Man, Clorox said they're up 500% from all the wipes they're selling right now. They wouldn't.
But you can't find them when you go to the store, so I don't know how that works.
Because so they go and they leave. They're there. Like I got a plug at the Dollar Tree. As soon as if she gets a shipment at 8 that morning, by 10 they're gone. So they come in, they just leave right away.
And it's funny because I was just talking to Sandy today because she went shopping and she was saying how they had no meat, and I was like, do they really? I actually, it's good you mentioned it. So I actually said to her, I wonder, are they really getting in this stuff like normal and it's going that fast, or is they just not stocking it as fast? And she was like, no, the person was like, yeah, we get it and it goes.
Right.
They
get it and it goes. So yeah, that's what's going on with the Clorox. So no, they're making money hand over fist because they're probably doing more shipments because it goes out so fast as they,
Yeah, but I feel like certain stores or certain things seem like, oh, the demand is so high, we can't do this and that. And I feel like other stuff feel like, man, we're on top of it so fast. As soon as they come in and go, we're able to bring it back, Yeah. Like, I guess it all depends on whatever your product is, your facilities, like to create it,
Well, you can always get that old Walmart meat like Joe Exotic if you want some or something like that.
To do what?
You can always get that old Walmart meat like Joe Exotic and eat that.
I didn't even know that was a thing. That's crazy, but yeah.
I know it is.
Get the old meat like Joe Exotic.
Oh yeah.
No, you're not for nothing. When I used to work at the dollar store years ago, so this was my first real job, like actually, because I did landscaping, but it wasn't like I got hired. Like I worked for my friend's dad. But the dollar store was the first job I ever had, right? And so, if we was like cutting open like crates and we cut a package, we just had to throw it in the garbage. But it was brand new, you know. So we would go around back at when the store closed and like get the candy or whatever, you know, because we knew nothing was wrong with it. But you know.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy.
I to just give it to you either.
Yeah, so back to Empire. So so you liked it throughout basically, or?
Yeah, it was definitely a show that we look forward to. My wife was definitely more into it than I was, but so she would always be like, "Yo, Empire," like, all right, you know. But yeah, I was a big Empire fan, man. It was a good show. I liked it. It was a different type of show for me, and even the music. Like I never in my life, I can't think of watching a show where I was that, and when it was about music for the, you know, and I was that into it, you know. So
yeah. So I was telling somebody the other day, I said, even though Empire has went downhill, like the viewership, if you look at the numbers, is less than half of what it once was. You know, I think at one point it peaked to like, there were like 17 million homes.
Oh man, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. And that last episode, for example, did 3.3 million. So that their viewership had like dropped dramatically, right? But I was saying for me, even though the show wasn't as great as it was, I have to finish shows. Like I'm a finisher. If I start, I cannot stop until it's over, and that's just me. And there are people who I know, but like, listen, if it starts to get whack for me, I'm out. I'm like, I just can't do it. Like I gotta follow the characters, see how the story ends for the characters and whatnot. So that's how I am. So even though it wasn't as great for me in the beginning, I still, you know, enjoy watching. It was entertaining to me. So you know, it had its peak and it's over. So
yeah, I watched it through and through. I never stopped watching it. I'm a finisher too. Yeah, so it was, you know, once I got into it, it's probably harder for me to get into at first because it looked like it was something I had no interest in.
It's like I'm watching that Ratchet show.
Yeah, and you know, and she wanted to watch it. I'm telling you, I only have a black card because I'm married to a white woman. So but yeah, so we watched it, and you know, I watched it with her because she wanted to watch it. So for all the guys out there, well, just watch the show if your wife want to watch it, man. You might end up liking it. It's too many people that's like, man, I ain't doing that. She gonna watch it by herself. Like, just suck it up. If you need to go watch Twilight, you know, go watch Twilight. If you need to watch Harry Potter, go watch Harry Potter. You know, you need to go see 50 Shades of Grey, go see 50 Shades of Grey, man.
One, I'm gonna say this. There are certain lines with that. Like, I'm not going to see Magic Mike, even if I want to see it and whatnot.
Dude, Magic Mike was good. That was a good movie.
Yeah, that was a good movie.
Yeah, seen part 1 and part 2.
I got no comment for that right now.
Listen, I admired it. Made me want to get on the, you know.
But and I'm sure it was good to you, Sandy. I bet it was good to you. But no.
Dance for me.
I will say most of the shows I got into, a lot of them have been because a woman has said, check this out. And they want to be in good shows. You know, This Is Us, Grey's Anatomy, even True Blood we talked about in the other show the other day. So all because a woman said, check it out. And I would never watched it before. So, and now get Grey's Anatomy 17 seasons in. Again, I can't stop. I'm all into it. I don't care, you know, what happens to it and whatnot. But yeah, so you're one of those guys too. Like you're not going, like, if the show gets a little whack,
no, because I look at it like this. I don't look at the show as a whole. I just look at like, okay, the episode wasn't as good, or that season wasn't as good, and I'll be hoping that the season could pick back up. It's just like Walking Dead. I've started watching Walking Dead since day one, and it haven't been like the seasons just haven't been as good. It's getting better now. Like it had probably like 3 seasons where I was like, man, I don't even know why I'm watching this, but I'm a finisher. And then I'm like, okay, the last 2 seasons, you know, it wasn't what it was, but it's pretty, you know, it's not bad.
Right. You're going to finish it regardless, like you said.
I'm going to finish, yeah, regardless. Yeah, I'm to the end.
Yeah, that's me too. And now we're on to, my wrestling book. Where's that, actually? Since you tried to
pull that out, man.
Yeah, hold on. I got to grab it real quick. Hold on 1 second. I'm going to just, where's my,
I probably could find it faster than you. The picture you sent me.
No, I'm looking at the book now.
It's like a thing where you could look at pictures. Whoops. I didn't do that. I don't know what I did. I just archived our message. And then there was a thing where you could see like whatever pictures you shared with each other. Guys, Mike is trying to find this to show you. The greatest moves in wrestling by Mike. Look at that. That's when he was a little kid. That's what he drew. That's what he's trying to find. He actually wrote a book when he was little, because Mike and I, we keep going back and forth of who's the bigger wrestling fan. And Mike thinks he's a bigger wrestling fan than me. But he no longer watches wrestling, so how much of a fan is he? I don't know. I mean, but hey. And he thinks because he wrote that book, that means he's a bigger wrestling fan. So I don't know.
So you better start pulling out some pictures of you and your brother with the belts on. Homemade drawn belts like John Cena. I'm just playing.
I am definitely the bigger wrestling fan.
All right, I'm back.
Oh, cool.
Bro. I know it's a live show. Sorry, guys, but things happen.
That's all right. I was entertaining him while he was going. And I explained to him how you think you're a bigger wrestling fan than me. And I even showed them what you were trying to find. So it's all good. So whenever you decide to turn your camera back on, we are here waiting for you. And again, this show is live. And yeah, or at least it was live when it came on. And you guys are watching a little bit later. But either way.
All right. Oh, I got the book now, so you're not listening.
Yeah. Well.
All right. So here's the context. Not about now, but we were talking about who was a bigger wrestling fan when we were younger, and I told him there was.
Oh, that's what you wanted to say. But go ahead.
I told there was no bigger fan than me, and whatnot, and then we went back and forth, and he didn't know even about a great wrestling. The ECW that was eventually wrestlers went to the WWE. He didn't even know where they came from, so I proved it there too. But nevertheless,
so I knew all about that. I just didn't watch trash ECW. That's all.
Nevertheless, in the '90s, that's what I was talking about. Attitude Era and before, I was a bigger wrestling fan, and to prove it, I had to show them. I actually wrote a book to show how much of a wrestling fan that I was.
How thick is that book?
Huh?
How thick is that book?
Thick enough. And
could you go through this? Go like this?
Guess what? It's hardback. It's hardback too.
Just flip through some pages.
Hold on. But I will. Before I do that though, but you know it's me. This is a great version of me, actually. Bro.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's me. With a little bio about the author, which is myself. And I'm gonna go to the very end. This is the reason I wrote this book, is so people can see what they're missing. Wrestling is a great sport. Look what I said, so much more intense than basketball or football. It should be the #1 sport.
Yeah. Oh man.
That was the 7th grade me, bro.
Now let me tell you something about your 7th grade self. Number one, I probably had kids when you was in 7th grade. And number two, your 7th grade self, bless his little soul, thought wrestling was real. So I guess you was a bigger fan than me at that time in your life. He said, first of all, you called it a sport. Yeah, back then I guess they thought wrestling was a sport, and you definitely thought it was real back then. And don't look me in the eye and say you didn't. So you know what, Mike? If you was a bigger fan back then in your little 7th grade year, where you thought Hulk Hogan was a real person, and his name wasn't Terry Bollea, then you go ahead, Mike. You can have it. I said it. Mike, seventh grade little Mike, bless his little soul.
You're putting words in my mouth. I never said I thought it was real, but you're putting words in my mouth.
You did.
I definitely did. However, it is scripted. I don't use the word real or fake because their pain is real, right? So it's scripted, right. I would say at this point. And a true wrestling fan would know that it's scripted, but the pain is real.
Now though, because back in the day, there was a point in time where I thought it was real. I remember when I realized it wasn't real and my grandma was a fan. So I watched wrestling with my grandma and my grandfather, and she still thought it was real. And they used to be like, yeah, grandma still thinks it's real. So yeah, I mean, you know.
Yeah, I was a huge fan, even bigger than basketball and football. But
that's cool, man. Yeah, because I know you're a big basketball and football fan.
I know. So I didn't even know this. I didn't read this before right now. I didn't know I've said that till right now. I'm surprised I even wrote that. So that's amazing.
So if I would have been like, mate, you used to like it more than basketball and football, you'd be like, nah, that's a stretch.
Right.
Yeah.
So wax though, it's in the book. So
that's cool.
What are you gonna do? So this is the greatest move. So I wanted to put this out there also to see do you remember these moves because you were a fan. So
right.
And I have opened the books by the way since then. So I'm gonna go with I think it was 10 moves that I did. Wow. The book is dedicated to my mother and all the wrestling fans all over the world. That's amazing.
That was me. You was dedicating it to me too.
No. The book you are reading is a great book. It includes the 12 greatest moves in professional wrestling during the 90s. The wrestlers who perfected these moves, their accomplishments are in this book. It has moves of wrestlers in 3 different organizations: ECW, WWF, and WCW. Wow.
Wow. WWF. And what is it called now?
WWE now. Of course.
Get the F out is what they is the slogan.
I know, but at this time it was. So I did it like 9. I'm not gonna read the whole thing to you. I gotta bring it to you one day just so you can actually read it or whatnot. But number 10 was the Razor's Edge, actually. So I said some stuff about him and how he was WWF and then WCW, blah, blah, blah. Number 9 was Sid Vicious's Power Bomb. So it was a Power Bomb, but by Sid, actually. Right. I put in there. Power bombs are different. Actually.
Yeah. Well, it depends on who's doing it. Some people, Sid Vicious didn't care, so he put that oomph on it.
Yeah. Exactly. Where like Kevin Nash kind of dropped you a little bit, but his was a little different.
Right. Yeah, he kind of tossed you. Sid Vicious hurled you to the ground.
Yeah, exactly. Number 8 was Frankensteiner, Scott Steiner, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was back in WCW days.
Yeah.
When he was the younger brother of Rick's.
Yep. Before he was
when he got muscle cues, he wasn't doing the Frankensteiner no more.
Nah, he probably couldn't be the agile anymore.
Right.
Number 7. How about this? The Pearl River Plunge.
Sandy just hit my my camera. But go ahead.
Did you remember who did this? The Pearl River Plunge was number 7 at the time.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember what his name was, but he was in ECW.
Nope. WWF. Pearl River Plunge.
The Pearl River Plunge?
Yep.
Yeah. Who did that?
Ahmed Johnson.
Oh yeah. So remember, I told you I didn't watch when The Rock first came. I didn't watch when they was Nation of Domination.
Right.
Yeah, I missed all that.
Bro, I was so detailed to be in 7th grade. I put it won him the Intercontinental title and a Slammy Award for WWF's New Sensation. I was so detailed for 7th grade first. Wow. That's crazy. I know. Number 6 was the DDT by Arn Anderson.
Okay.
DDT. Yeah. Of course. Okay. He put that on it too.
Also, I think me personally, Arn Anderson had the best spine buster.
Me too. Man, I agree.
Yeah. Even to this day, I look at people do a spine buster like, man, Arn Anderson's spine buster was serious.
I think between him and Triple H, but definitely Arn Anderson.
Yeah, well, definitely Triple H crossed my mind. Because when he picked you up, he like kind of jumps with it and spin. But yeah.
Oh yeah. Arn took you down. Number 5 was the sharpshooter. You know who does that, of course.
A bunch of people does a sharpshooter, actually. You want to tell me who are they? Who's the two most popular people who do the sharpshooter, Mike?
the originator of the sharpshooter. We're gonna go. I'm going with
since
Bret
you're
Hart.
trying to, because I got a question for you after this, since you think
All
you're
right.
a wrestling guy. But yeah, how about
All
you tell me the two most popular people to do the sharpshooter?
Wait, called the sharpshooter? You're saying?
Yeah.
I mean, Bret Hart, Owen Hart did the sharpshooter. Also, Sting, but his was Scorpion Deathlock. It was something different, actually.
Right. You know what? I didn't really think about this thing, but I was thinking about The Rock when The Rock was doing it.
His was trash, bro. It never won him a match either.
I mean,
that. Sting was winning matches with that Scorpion Deathlock.
Yeah, but The Rock put, like, when he grabbed in and
yeah, it looked better. It looked
better.
What I'm
saying? Like,
it did. But Bret Hart was winning mad matches.
Oh yeah, that was his signature move. Yeah.
I think number 4 was the choke slam by the Giant.
Yeah,
before he was the Big Show. When he was a Giant, when I wrote this, he was a Giant of WCW. He won a title with that.
Yeah.
Actually.
Now let me ask you a question. When did he win his title?
WCW title?
Yeah, go ahead and read it.
I didn't. I didn't put it in.
Oh, you didn't. So when did he win his title? Like, what was significant about his title win?
I think it was. I know it was against Hogan, right? Yeah, it was against Hogan.
Yeah.
I just remember he was so young when he did it.
Well, I'll help you out. That's good enough, though. I give you credit. It was a big deal for him. He won his WCW championship against Hulk Hogan, his first match. So that's what made it a big deal.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
Okay. Got you. Yeah. Okay. It wasn't in here. You're right. Yeah. You know what's crazy? As the book gets longer, you saw I was 7th grade. Like, the last 3 are very short descriptions because I got like tired and lazy and whatnot.
Yeah, well, you was like 13, right?
Yeah. We're like 12 actually. But what the first ones was at, it's very longer descriptions.
Right.
But number 4 was the leg drop by Hogan, only because of its significance. It wasn't a great move, but because it was so significant.
Yeah, so it was. Yeah, whenever you see a leg drop, you have to think of Hulk Hogan. And honestly, Hulk Hogan is probably the definition of wrestling. I mean, you know.
Yeah. I was telling my boy, I said, you know what's crazy? He got a lot of height on that leg drop, though. He jumped high as hell.
And his leg was big, yo.
Yeah.
So if he hit you with that for real, it will hurt.
Yeah, it will hurt. Like I was looking at it, I was like, man, he was really high on that joint or whatever. The second one was the Diamond Cutter by Diamond Dallas Page at the time.
Ooh, yeah, man.
Yeah. That was popular, by the way. Super popular.
Well, it's still popular. Do you know who still does it to this day, and it's super popular because of this person?
Oh, Orton, right? With his RKO? Yep. I got you. And just like DDP is out of nowhere. Same thing. Nowhere. DDP was out of nowhere too.
Yeah, you used to be like, bang!
Yeah. Look at you. Okay, I'm impressed a little bit. And number 1, you know what's crazy? To this day, this will still be my number 1. It's so crazy I'm reading this right now. But the number 1 is, I'll give you a little hint. Woo! Figure 4 leg lock.
Really?
Figure 4 leg, yes. Number 1.
Wow.
Still would be my number 1. Right now.
How you not have the Stone Cold Stunner on that list, bro?
This was 97. I think he wasn't as popular by 97, actually.
Okay.
I don't even think he arrived yet. It depends on what month it was. He might have just started being Stone Cold or just arrived.
Okay, gotcha.
His popularity was like, his real popularity was like 98, 99 and stuff like that. 97. Because that year, that was the year Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels battled for the title back and forth.
Okay.
And that's when November 97, that's the Survivor Series, was when the Montreal Screwjob happened. Yeah. So that was before Stone Cold really got to his his levels and whatnot. So, but yeah, so it's a figure 4. And I think he's my he's my top. I mean, I love Ric Flair, bro. I just still do. So
that's cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's a shame you don't watch wrestling, man, because his daughter is better than him in like so many ways, man. Charlotte Flair is
I don't know about that, bro.
Listen, one thing you would never say was amazing about Ric Flair was his wrestling. Like, he was a decent wrestler, man. But
let me ask you a question before I let you go. If I let you keep talking. Did you see his documentary?
No.
His 3-part documentary. Mm-hmm. Bro, before you keep talking, I want you to watch his 3-part documentary.
So
hold on, let me finish. Let me finish. Hold on. So Ric Flair, like 70s and 80s Flair, was an amazing wrestler.
Right.
Well, actually, really like 70s, early 80s. Then he had he got in the plane accident and hurt his back. Yeah. Yeah. And he came back and he wasn't as good. But he was an amazing wrestler. And remember, he was having those, I don't remember, he was having those Iron Man matches with Ricky Steamboat, hour matches, even back then, where people were even having them like that. Like Flair could wrestle. Now, he got older, of course, and our predominantly youth was his elder states and stuff like that, if you think about it. But people who got to see him in his 20s, in his 30s, they got a show.
Well, I bet you this. If you watch one Charlotte Flair match, if I put on one good Charlotte Flair match, you're going to be like, you can't Google Ric Flair doing what she do.
Okay.
Like, she does everything. She took her, what's cool about her is, and I always say this, when a wrestler has a family member or a father, right? You know, they're second generation wrestler. Like there's a lot of people who, like Mr. Perfect's son, can't start it off. He didn't want to use Mr. Perfect's name at all. So his name, he started off as Michael McGillicuddy. People are like, who the hell is that? I was like, oh, it's Mr. Perfect's son. Didn't do well at all. Charlotte Flair came out with the woo, wearing the robes. Her finisher move is the figure four leg lock, is the figure 8. Because when she puts you in it, she bends her body upside down and arches her back. And so it put that extra pressure. She does another move where she she jumps it. It's like behind you and slam your face into the ground. What is it called? It's like it's pretty much in her lineage. Like everything she do, but on top of that, dude, she could do moonsaults. I mean, like the stuff she could do.
I mean, yeah, but that's just because of the times. Like they weren't doing that shit in the 70s and early 80s when he came out. But I guarantee you, Shane got a stamina he had back then. Ric Flair can go for 3 hours straight.
Nah, you got to see.
I'm telling you, you got to watch his doc, bro, and whatnot. You will see. I was impressed because I really thought, and you know, for me, it's just I think he put on the best show. Like, you know, like he was Tony Soprano. He was a villain you love.
Dirtiest player in the game.
Dirtiest player, but you loved them for some reason. Like even though the Four Horsemen were not good guys, but everybody was holding up the force. You know, we loved the Four Horsemen for some reason.
I think the Four Horsemen was cool because they was like the bullies, the bad guys that you like. But I never seen here's how less of I think of Ric Flair's wrestling. My favorite Ric Flair match was when they had WWE ECW, is what I like to call it. When ECW was made public that it was bought by WWE, and they actually had Wednesday nights was ECW. It was Ric Flair versus Big Show, and I mean it was one of the most bloodiest matches I've seen. And it was like, what, Ric Flair versus Big Show? But they put on this great dramatic match with tacks and you name it, and they was all bloody. And it's like, wow, you actually watch small Ric Flair versus huge Big Show, and they gave this great show. But it wasn't like,
yeah, him as a wrestler, I never thought was great. I thought the show he put on, like, if it wasn't for Flair, it would be no Sting. Like, he helped Sting become who he was because he was having those matches with Sting back in the day.
Now, here's a wrestling term. I think this is what you're saying. What we like to say is the psychology of the match. His psychology was great. I'm not saying I don't feel like his wrestling was great, maybe because he's such an older wrestler. So meaning what his moves and stuff he did is kind of outdated. Yes. But the psychology, him being the dirtiest player, the things he did, you love. Like that's when Edge turned bad and they start calling him the ultimate opportunist. It was like a play on how dirty Ric Flair was. And I loved it.
I agree.
Nobody was like Ric Flair to get away with the stuff he did. And I feel like one of the people who was probably have a harder job than the wrestlers is the referee. He has to act like he doesn't see nothing, but you have to pull it off so he can't see it and get away with it and make it look like it was real.
Yeah.
You know?
I just think that like I said, by the time I mean even by the time you were 10, you know, he was already 40. You know what I mean? Like he was always old to us a little bit and stuff like that. And I think we kind of like Danny Glover, the actor, right? He was always older. But I feel like that we just missed some of his prime wrestling, a lot of it, what it was. But, you know, you're right. He was always the dirtiest player. The psychology was good. His moves stayed the same pretty much. Right. But he was like, if you watch that doc, they're like, yo, nobody had more stamina than Rick. Like, he can go for 2 or 3 hours at a time. It was like ridiculous. And then, like, I think that charisma he brought, styling, profiling, and the Four Horsemen. Think about them as that. Even though wrestling's quote unquote fake, they were living the lifestyle they were presenting or whatever. Like they were really like, like
Jet
rock
plane
stars.
flying,
Yeah,
limousine riding.
yeah, like had men and women together all the time and things like that. Like Rick, those were really his shoes, really his. That wasn't a wardrobe. Like he was really rocking on the stuff or whatever like that. So I think that's why he's in my top 5. I think it's more than just the wrestling. If I were to go to wrestling with it itself, it would be like Dean Malenko, Kurt Angle. It would be different people and stuff like
Dean
that.
Malenko,
Yeah, it wouldn't be no like stars. I guess I would say.
Because I always say it, Stone Cold's my favorite wrestler, but as Stone Cold, he's like the worst wrestler.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like we talked about Hogan. Hogan wasn't a great wrestler, but he was, he was the biggest. He was the Michael Jordan wrestler at one point.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So he was getting movies way before anybody was getting movies and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's my list. That's my proof. But I'll let you read it one day because it's actually very more detailed than I put on the camera.
Cool.
But it is cool to look back though right now, at that and how much I was really into it more than anything. And then I dedicated to the fans and stuff like that. That's kind of amazing. I got a little nostalgic feeling.
Cool, man. I got to give you credit. That definitely make me look at you a little bit different as when you say you're a super big wrestling fan. I still don't think you're a bigger fan than me, but but that is pretty impressive though, and the fact that to hear you say it was better than basketball and football, that's pretty cool.
I know, bro. I would never say that today at all.
Yeah.
Like, I love basketball and football.
Yeah, you probably couldn't tell people you actually said that once upon a time. I'm like, I might say it. Like, no, I didn't.
I know how to hide his book,
Yeah. So I don't want to drag this out too long, but let me ask you a question, Mike, since you brought up wrestling because you're trying to show you the bigger fan. So my son and my brother were all big wrestling fans, right? And we had took us about 3 hours to figure this out. But I'm going to ask you right now, which wrestler, and it was just a conversation, and it went from just a quick conversation to we had to figure this out. And we did a lot of research, a lot of detail, looking up matches, YouTubing matches to figure out the answer. And I want to ask you off the top of your head, who do you think this is? And you could give me maybe, 3 or 5 people you think. So what wrestler out of any wrestler you could think of, you think have the most impressive list of matches they won? Now, let me explain it. Not meaning it was a 5-star match, not meaning the match was amazing, just meaning which wrestler you could think of beat the most amount of big names. Like their list of people they beat is more impressive than anybody else.
That's tough. I would probably go with Triple H, actually.
Okay.
Only because he's still around now and he's beat people since the 90s and stuff like that. So I'll probably go with the game, Triple H. So.
Yeah, it was just his 25th anniversary. Last week, Friday, was the 25th anniversary of Triple H. So he's been wrestling for 25 years now.
Crazy.
Yeah. So we were first. So to start off, because my son loves Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar is like this new beast. Now he beat Undertaker's WrestleMania streak. Yeah. Undertaker won 21 WrestleMania matches and then lost to him. He beat in you name it. But then we was like, well, technically he never beat Stone Cold because when they decided to make him beat Stone Cold quit. Then it was like, what about The Rock? It was like, well, then The Rock never faced people like Sting. Or he faced Goldberg, but he didn't face Sting. Then we was thinking of like, well, my brother was like, well, if that's the case, Kurt Angle. And I was like, oh man, Kurt Angle had a moment where because in order to be on that list, you would have had to beat Hogan, Rock, Stone Cold, Jericho, John Cena, because John
Flair.
Cena John Cena is the new Hulk Hogan. You would have had to beat all these people. And so talking, we was like, oh, maybe it was Undertaker. And it was like, oh no, but Undertaker never faced Sting. And Undertaker never got to face Goldberg. Then we was like, well, Brock Lesnar did beat Goldberg, but he never faced Sting. Then we was like, we was bringing up all these people, And Mike, I'm gonna have to give you a superstar because in the end, we figured out Triple H has beat everybody who was somebody. His list is the most impressive out of all wrestlers. And we was like, wait, he never beat John Cena. Then we Googled it. If you Google it, it don't come up. Then I typed in YouTube and he did beat him at No Mercy for the title. We was like, wait, so we're going down the list, like, wait, because we was like, well, Triple H beat this person, but he didn't beat this person. Then we were like, no, he did beat that person. And in the end, Triple H even beat, because you wasn't watching then, but he even beat Sting. Down the road, Sting became a WWE wrestler, and Triple H beat him at WrestleMania. Then Triple H ended up beating Goldberg.
Did he? Oh, wow.
Yeah, Goldberg, when he came and joined the WWE, not a one-on-one though, so we was like, but still, they had a triple threat match. It was Kane, Goldberg, and Triple H, and Kane chokeslammed him, but Triple H actually pinned Goldberg for the 1, 2, 3. Gotcha. So the funny thing is, your first guess, it wasn't even a guess, you was like, had to be Triple H, and you're right.
I'm telling you, bro. I'm like, he's been around so long, and I've seen him beat so many people. And I'm even at, like, he beat Flair, he beat Shawn Michaels. I'm adding everybody in this list too. You know, I mean, some of the greats. And he beat, throughout his time, Rock, of course, Mick Foley. I don't know how many people you were thinking about that he beat or whatever, but he beat so many people that I would have to say him. Randy Orton. He beat Batista a bunch of times actually. Actually, at one point he couldn't beat Batista. Then he finally beat Batista.
Here's the crazy thing. He never beat Batista. But I remember I was telling you this. Batista wanted his last match to be against Triple H when he retired, and he just fought him, I believe, last year, and Triple H actually beat him. But before that, Triple H never beat him. Yeah,
I remember Batista beat him 3 times in a row. After he got the championship, I remember that. And after Evolution split up and whatnot. But yeah. So I just knew it had to be him, actually. So
that was cool because it took me about 3 hours to figure that out.
I wasn't even thinking about the guys you were thinking about, because I don't think about them as great wrestlers or like long-term icons like Brock.
Yeah, you know what hard is when you checked out, there became a lot of more stars, but they wouldn't be stars to you,
Yeah, but I just remember him beating like the stars of my time, like the Shawn Michaels and Stone Cold.
Like for you probably like Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar is now like the top like WWE superstar. Like he gets the belt and listen.
Well, no, remember this is his second run though. Remember, I was still watching when he came the first time when he beat the Rock at SummerSlam in 04 or whatever it was, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And when he came with Paul Heyman, he was a beast then actually.
Yeah, well right now. He literally haven't had a match on TV, besides one match, in one match on TV in like 5 years, and he's still one of the top paid wrestlers because his character is so big after he beat the Undertaker streak that they literally give him the moon. Then he was smart enough to leverage himself going back to UFC, and WWE actually allowed him to fight in UFC and still have a WWE contract. It's crazy.
Right, so he don't fight on Raw or SmackDown like that?
No, he had one match. He faced Kofi Kingston for the title on SmackDown because they had this whole big thing where they had a draft. He got drafted to SmackDown, fought Kofi Kingston for the belt. First time he fought in like 5 years on TV. And they
when did he fight? When do you see him fight there? On pay-per-view?
The only
that's
fight
it?
Only.
Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, I remember he playing the first time, and actually his set of matches with Kurt Angle, some of the best matches I've ever seen. Actually, like that first time
they had the first ever Iron Man match on TV.
Right.
On SmackDown.
Right. Yeah, on regular TV. Yeah, definitely. They were good. So yeah, that's a good trivia y'all hang on them. But make sure you let them know I got him the first try without even knowing.
I definitely will, and especially for a guy who don't watch wrestling anymore. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I told you how much I was into it before, actually.
Right.
So, including that. But let's finish our show off a bit. This was a little homework assignment that we had, and we both kind of struck out at first. We'll see what we're going to do now. But we saw something online, and it's what's his name? You know the guy's name, Ryan. I forget his name.
Say what you just said, because I think when you was rubbing your ear, like we couldn't hear you.
Oh, we saw something online, somebody on Instagram. Ryan comedy, something like that. Ryan Davis. Ryan Davis. Shout out to Ryan Davis. But he was talking about his top movie characters that he loves and hates. He had about 4 or 5 for each.
Yeah,
We
5 for
thought
each.
we, huh?
Yeah, he had 5 for each.
For each, 5 for each.
Yeah.
We thought that was a lot to do, and he had descriptions of why he hated each character. So we said let's bring it down to 2 for each category.
Right.
And we've been trying to think about this for a while. So you have any at all for me, Anthony? Any.
So my wife said, why don't you say Hannibal because you love his character? But I said, no, this would be, I have to like love, admire, like, man, this is a great character. But Hannibal, I admired his character because he's brilliant, but he was killing people and eating people. So no. Man, I don't know why it's not coming to me. And I figured that's why I said, let's just discuss it because maybe.
What about ones you might hate? Would you, none of that comes to you either?
So when I think of hate, I want to be like, oh man, I would kill this person. Maybe Miss Carmody from The Mist. The Mist is probably my top watched movie of all time. And Stephen King's The Mist, and Miss Carmody. Oh man, she was the lady in the grocery store that was trying to turn everybody against the certain people, and she was saying God started the mist, and you're gonna go to hell. And yeah, I don't know, maybe just off the top of my head that comes to mind. I'm like, oh my, this lady, ooh. But yeah, I don't know why, because when I watch his video, he was being a little funny too, but I wanted to go above and beyond and feel like I really, really love and admire this character. Like,
Right.
you know, and I wanted to be like, I really, really hate this character. And I guess I couldn't build the feelings. I don't have those feelings. Nothing comes off the top of my head to make me feel I'm that extreme here and I'm that extreme here. What about you?
So I thought about this actually too, and I do have my loved ones actually. So
Okay.
the more I thought about it, and you actually mentioned one the other day in another chat that we had,
Okay.
and it's Eddie Murphy's Marcus character in Boomerang and whatnot.
Okay.
I love that character. I've seen that movie over 100
Right.
times and whatnot, and I don't know because he has the, you know, he has the women, he has the advice, and he's just kind of, you know, suave, debonair, but funny at the same time. I think that I don't know. I rewind that movie a lot and watch his
Right.
parts over and over again. I just really love that character. I think he's probably one
That's
of my
cool.
top characters I've ever watched in film. And I love Eddie Murphy movies regardless.
Yeah.
I'm not telling you my favorite Eddie Murphy movie, but that character he played is probably the favorite character of his for me. I would say.
And that's your favorite character of all time, then, or one of them?
No,
One of them.
one of them. One
Right.
of them. I don't want to go here because we do a lot on mental theater, but it is what it is. Tony Stark, literally, but Tony Stark,
Right.
I love the character. I love Robert Downey Jr. playing the character. He's been in, I think, 8 of the 20 movies, I think, or
Right.
something like that, or 9. I just think that I rewind his parts too and whatnot. I think the wit, the charm, the way he plays, especially in the part 1, by the way, but the way he plays them, his intelligence, he's always got something prepared. He's always 2 steps ahead. Once again, like I like to be. I think he is my favorite all-time character in movies.
So instantly, I thought of one character, and I didn't want to say it because I felt that wouldn't work. Actually, I asked you, but because you said Tony Stark, I'm just throwing him in there. My top all-time admired favorite character is Optimus Prime, and
Okay.
didn't want at first. I was like, well, it was a cartoon, but then again, they made a live action, and I love and admire Optimus Prime because he's the super good guy and he's super hopeful and he wants to do the best for mankind. You know, he comes from another planet, but on our planet, like he wants so bad to protect the human race because he feel like you know, the human race is gonna do great things, and if you give them a chance, you know, they will prove to be, you know, great.
Let me ask you a question off that then,
Okay.
real quick, off topic. How would you feel? I heard they're trying to make a Transformers prequel, but set in Cybertron, like the whole movie
Right.
and whatnot. And I guess like showing before the war and everything
Right.
else. Like, how would you feel about that type of movie?
Well,
Like,
Yeah, did you see Bumblebee?
Yeah.
So I think that thought got real popular because in the beginning of Bumblebee, spoiler alert, but if you didn't see Bumblebee, I don't know what to say. But in the beginning of Bumblebee, they actually showed on Cybertron before everything you just said. They showed about a 7-minute clip of what it was like them on Cybertron and then leaving to go to Earth, sending Bumblebee to go to Earth. And so I've watched the cartoon. One of the biggest fans. One of the biggest things I'm a fan of is Transformers. And I've seen and played video games and cartoons. I've seen that played out many times. Yeah. So I would love to see it live action, but then it wouldn't really be live action. It would technically be CG. And I wouldn't mind, but I will say this. My only gripe was a lot of people loved what they seen. But I feel like the CG wasn't as great as people say on Bumblebee. Yeah. I feel like it was good, but it was like it looked.
Yeah, you're not level anymore.
I know Sandy is working from home, and she constantly keep pushing this papers over and is touching. I'm telling you, bro. We got too many rooms in this house. When my son moves out, I'm making it up, and she just.
This happened again, bro.
Yo, I can't look. I purposely. Oh, this is terrible. I purposely start coming in my bedroom to get away from everybody in the living room, right?
Yeah.
So I told myself, like, I made this whole thing. My chair's right here. Like, I got a good little background. I got good lighting. My lighting's good. Lamp here, lamp here.
Yeah.
And I'm never at peace, yo. I can't. I'm just gonna, like,
This is the first time
I'm just gonna, like, rent a space to, like, every time I do podcasts. Because I don't know.
So when you...
Anyway. But
anyway, so Cybertron, I thought it was interesting they would do that, only because you wouldn't see him as the truck or the car at Cybertron, so they wouldn't have those familiar tropes you're used to seeing as them on screen.
Right.
But I think they can still sell it though either way.
Yeah, they could, but I feel like for me it's been done so much. I guess for everybody else to be cool, they had a series of games. What's it called? Rise of Cybertron. It was like literally 3 games when they was on Cybertron and they was their regular vehicles. They wasn't earthly vehicles. Like I watched the Transformers when they was. I mean, it's been so done for me, and then I feel like I like seeing stuff being live action, but technically it's CG, so it's really not live action. So I feel for me, I done seen it done, played it, and so I'm a huge fan. I'd like to see it done again, I guess. But technically, it wouldn't be new for me,
Gotcha. You have anybody besides Optimus Prime? Not yet. We can come back to this another show.
Yeah, we're gonna have to because I want it to be like I wanted to talk to it because I was thinking you would help me think of people, and you did. You helped me think of Optimus. Well, I thought of Optimus date from the beginning, but I thought, all right, well maybe he's a animated cartoon. But you said Tony Stark, and I feel like his personality,
character. Yeah, it's not about a person.
Character.
Yeah, I'm gonna save my hate for the next show too, and maybe you'll have your other like for the next show too.
Yeah, I'll do the homework. Like what I'll do is, I guess I'll try to find favorite movies, and then I'll try to see like. Again, maybe I'm thinking too deep with it. Maybe I'm going.
You might be.
Yeah, I might be because I'm making it like it has to be like,
Yeah. But anyway, and I agree with the guy Ryan at some point. Like he was talking about Lawrence Fishburne when he played Ike Turner and how and what's love got to do with it. And he's right. He played that role so good. When you see a meme about Ike Turner, it's Lawrence Fishburne and not the actual Ike Turner. It's hilarious.
It was so funny that when he showed the picture of the real Ike Turner, I was like, oh, I forgot what Ike Turner looked like because in my head I just see Lawrence Fishburne.
Right. There's so many people I think who don't know what Ike Turner looks like, but they've seen, that movie or reference Ike Turner. So it's hilarious.
Yes.
A little bit. So that's somebody playing a role that'll get you to hate him that much. I mean, he ain't do it for me, for whatever reason, but I could see what he's talking about.
See, my thing is, when I think of people I love and hate, I instantly think of wrestling because I'm such a wrestling fan. And I feel like the people who pulled off characters that made me like, I mean, I have some, I could have answered that easy if it was wrestling, not movies. That's funny to me.
Okay, that's interesting. But anyway, hey, ladies and gents, that is our show for tonight. We're gonna let Tony get his household together with his room he's got to use. A little bit. But we appreciate it. We're gonna come back to you guys next week with another Big Mike, a little Ant show. In the meantime, we're gonna do a review of Spencer Confidential
That's right.
Watch that at some point and then do a review for you as well on our channel. And please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Anything else, Anthony?
Mike, listen, man. You know, your hosting personality is awesome. You were, when I first started listening to you on the podcast, you was the host. So I just love, I feel like, man, I don't really have nothing to say once Mike says it. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching. We truly appreciate it. We made it to 5 episodes. It's a big deal, and we are going to keep going. And what we also would like you guys to do is please comment. It's really important. Let us know things you want us to talk about. Let us know things you want us to watch and review, because that would be cool if we had movies that you said, hey, we would love to get your opinion on this movie. So with that said, like he said, he's Big Mike. I'm Little Ant. Stay tuned to the next episode.
All right, good night. Stop it.